Commanders Nation, open your eyes. A rookie on special teams just did the impossible, and only 3% of the fans know how this will crush our rivals. Meanwhile, a predator on defense is hunting QBs like they're easy prey. But the NFL wants to hide IT, and in 3, 2, 1, boom, Quinn's suicide play, sacrificing a star draftee for a nobody. Is IT madness? Or is IT the key to dominating the NFC East? This is told only once. If you don't subscribe now, you'll fall behind when the world discovers how Washington is reinventing football. Click like, shout in the comments, and rush to subscribe before the video explodes. When we think about everything we've suffered as Commanders fans over the last 8 years, how many times did we say we needed something special on special teams? How many times did we watch punt returns that didn't even reach 10 yards? I tell you this, yesterday everything changed. Jaylen Lane, this rookie from Virginia Tech that many didn't even know at the start of the season, just made history by returning a punt 90 yards for a touchdown against the Raiders. 90 yards! And here's what has me completely crazy. It's our first punt return for a touchdown since Week 5 of 2016. Do you realize what that means? Let me paint the full scenario for you. Third quarter, Washington already dominating 20-10 against Las Vegas, the Raiders punt. And we all expected the usual fair catch or maybe a conservative 5 or 6 yard return, but nitrogen monoxide. Lane catches the ball at his own 10-yard line, sees the field unfold ahead of him, and suddenly he's running down the sideline like Darrell Green in his best days. You know what was most impressive about that play? It wasn't just the speed, although my God, what speed! It was the patience he showed. I've watched the replay like 20 times, and you can see how Lane waits for the blockers to do their job, finds the perfect gap, and then explodes towards the end zone with an acceleration that left the Las Vegas tacklers seeing ghosts. I think this young man is showing us something fundamental. Before this game, Lane had 5 punt returns for 50 yards. Decent numbers, but nothing spectacular. An average of 10 yards per return, respectable but not extraordinary. But in a single game, he added 5 more returns for 127 yards and that touchdown. That has us all celebrating. That raises his average to over 17 yards per return this season. And you know why this is great? Because we finally have a real threat in the return game. For years, our special teams were mediocre at best. Remember Danny Smith and how our returns were practically non-existent? Remember when we had returners taking fair catches in situations where they could clearly gain yards? But now, with Lane handling punt returns and Deebo Samuel returning to kickoffs for 93 yards in the same game, we have special teams that can change the momentum of any game. This is no coincidence. This is Jeremy Reeves and the entire special team staff finally finding the right pieces. I think Lane is not just another returner. This guy has that explosive speed and field vision that separates the good from the great. Did you see how he read the blocks on that 90-yard return? That was pure class. But here's what has me even more excited. Lane is not just a one-trick pony. This rookie from Virginia Tech was a solid wide receiver in college. Do you know what that means? That he understands how to read defenses, find gaps, and use his speed wisely. He's not just a straight-line speed guy. He's a complete athlete who can contribute in multiple facets of the game. And you know what else I love about this situation? That Dan Quinn trusted a rookie for one of the most important positions on special teams. In this league, a bad punt return can cost your team the game. A fumble, a wrong decision not to fair catch, or simply running to the wrong spot can be disastrous. But Quinn saw something in Lane during training camp and preseason. That gave him the confidence to put him there. And look how he's responding. This touchdown not only extended our lead to 27-10 at a crucial moment in the game, but completely destroyed any momentum the Raiders might have had. I tell you this, when you have a returner who can take any punt to the house, that completely changes the dynamics of the game. Opposing teams have to think twice before punting. They have to ensure their coverage teams are perfect, because a single mistake can result in 6 points for us. If that surprises you, just wait to hear this. After years of watching this team struggle with pass rush, we finally have someone stepping up when we need it most. Dorance Armstrong Jr. was that player we all had on the periphery, right? He came from Dallas with Dan Quinn, had a relatively silent 2024 season, and many wondered if he could really be the answer to our quarterback pressure problems. I tell you this, Armstrong is silencing all the critics. With Dietrich Wise Jr. out for the season due to that quad injury that required surgery, The pressure fell entirely on Armstrong's shoulders. And do you know what this man is doing? He's responding like a true professional. 3 sacks in 3 consecutive games to start the season. Do you understand how significant that is? We're not talking about accidental or clean-up sacks. We're talking about a defensive end dominating offensive lines, showing that explosiveness from the snap that we all want to see. Let me be specific about what I saw in the game against the Raiders. First quarter, Las Vegas faces 3rd and long. Geno Smith steps back to pass, and Armstrong comes off the right edge like a guided missile. It wasn't luck. It wasn't a confusing blitz. It was pure technique and athleticism outmatching an offensive tackle worth millions of dollars. You know what impressed me most about that play? The speed of Armstrong's hands. I've seen many pass rushers with good first steps, but who can't convert that initial speed into effective pressure because they can't disengage from blockers. Armstrong not only has that burst off the line, but he also has the technical tools to beat established tackles. I think the connection with Dan Quinn is key here. Quinn knows exactly how to maximize Armstrong's skills from their days in Dallas. Remember how Quinn developed DeMarcus Lawrence in Dallas. Remember how he turned Micah Parsons into a multifunctional weapon. Quinn has a proven track record of taking raw talented pass rushers and polishing them into game changers. With Armstrong, he's applying the same philosophy. He's not trying to turn him into something he's not. He's maximizing the natural strengths he already has, and you know why this is so important for us. Because Adam Peters didn't invest massive resources in pass rush during the offseason, trusting the players we already had, while other teams spent pick after pick and millions chasing pass rushers. Peters trusted Quinn to develop what he already had in-house, and it's working. Armstrong is showcasing that pursuit speed and refined technique that separates sack artists from average players. But here comes what really excites me. Armstrong is not just a one-dimensional pass rusher. Did you see how he played against the run on Sunday? This man is not only pressuring quarterbacks, he's setting the edge, making tackles in the backfield, and being a complete defensive end. In this modern league, you can't have pass rushers who only show up on obvious passing downs. You need guys who can contribute in all situations. Armstrong is proving he can be that guy. After a solid college career at Kansas, he was selected by Dallas in the 4th round of the 2018 draft. During his years with the Cowboys, he showed flashes, but never could consistently become the impact player everyone knew he could be. But you know what changed? The system. In Dallas, Armstrong was sharing snaps with multiple pass rushers, was in constant rotation, and never could establish a rhythm. Here in Washington, Quinn is using him as the primary edge rusher, giving him the responsibilities of a true starter, and Armstrong is responding. I think we're witnessing the birth of our next great pass rusher. Remember when Ryan Kerrigan had that breakout season? Remember how Brian Orkpo dominated during his best years here? Armstrong has that same potential. He has the size at 6 feet 2 inches and 259 pounds. He has the athleticism with that 4.57 speed in the 40-yard dash. And now he has the coaching staff that knows exactly how to use him, but that's not all. Do you think Armstrong can maintain this level throughout the season? I think he can, because he's finally in the perfect system for his skills. Quinn is not just asking Armstrong to rush the passer. He's designing specific packages that maximize his strengths, and you know what else I love? Armstrong is elevating the level of the entire defensive line. When you have one guy who consistently wins his one-on-one matchups, that creates opportunities for everyone else. The offensive lines have to start sliding protection toward Armstrong, and that opens up lanes for our interior pass rush, but that's nothing compared to what's coming. And when you thought we were done, here's this news that has everyone wondering what's really going on in the offensive line. Brandon Coleman, our starting left guard, was declared inactive against the Raiders. And here's the interesting part. It wasn't due to injury. According to ESPN, a team spokesperson confirmed it was a coach's decision and had nothing to do with his shoulder injury. Coleman, who had played 92% of the team's offensive snaps this season, simply stayed on the bench. Can you believe that? I tell you this, when a coach makes a decision like that with a player drafted in the 3rd round of the 2024 draft, who had been a starter in both games this season, something more is happening behind the scenes. This is not a decision made lightly. Let me give you the full context of this situation. Coleman came to Washington with high expectations. He was a 3rd-round pick, which means the organization saw enough potential to invest significant draft capital in him. During his rookie season in 2024, he started 12 of the 16 games he played, which is impressive for a rookie offensive lineman. This year, he began the season as the unquestionable starting left guard. He played every single offensive snap in the first 2 weeks, establishing himself as a crucial piece of our offensive line. 92% of offensive snaps means he was practically irreplaceable. So what happened? I think there are several possibilities here, and all are fascinating from a team management perspective. Possibility number 1, performance issues. Maybe Coleman wasn't executing at the level Dan Quinn and the coaching staff expect. In this league, especially on the offensive line, small mistakes are magnified. A missed assignment, poor technique, a failure to communicate. Any of those things can result in Jaden Daniels getting hit or a running play getting stuffed. Quinn has been consistent from day one. Performance matters more than pedigree. It doesn't matter where you were drafted. It doesn't matter how much the team is paying you. If you're not producing at an acceptable level, you go to the bench. Possibility number 2, disciplinary reasons. Maybe Coleman violated some team rule. Maybe he was late to meetings. Maybe he wasn't following the program Quinn has established. Quinn comes from organizations where accountability is everything, and he won't tolerate behavior that undermines team chemistry. Possibility number 3, and this seems the most intriguing. Maybe Quinn simply saw something in Chris Paul he liked more for this specific game plan. Paul, who was a 7th-round pick in 2022, had played just 11 snaps on offense and 7 on special teams this season before this game. Those numbers suggest he was primarily a backup and special teams contributor. Suddenly, he finds himself starting in one of the most important positions on the offensive line. But do you know what really has me curious? That Paul responded well to his opportunity. I watched the offensive line closely during the game, and honest to God, I didn't notice any significant drop-off in performance. Jaden Daniels had time to make his throws, the running game worked decently, and there were no obvious breakdowns that could be directly attributed to the change at left guard. That tells me 2 things. Either Paul is much better than we thought, or Coleman wasn't playing as well as his starting status suggested. Maybe Quinn saw things in practice we can't see. Small details indicating Paul gives the team a better chance to win. I think Quinn is sending a clear message to the entire locker room. Nobody has their position guaranteed. While the Giants continue with inconsistent offensive lines, and the Eagles have their own internal problems, we have a coach who isn't afraid to make difficult decisions. This isn't the Washington organization of the past, where politics and draft investment dictated playing time more than actual performance. Quinn is establishing a culture where everybody has to earn their spot every single week. But what does this mean moving forward? Has Coleman lost his starting job permanently, or is this just a temporary message? I think everything depends on how he responds. If Coleman uses this as motivation to improve his game and buy into Quinn's system completely, he will probably find his way back into the starting lineup. But if this becomes a bigger issue, if Coleman doesn't handle this demotion professionally, then Paul might have earned himself a permanent starting role. And do you know what fascinates me about this situation? That it demonstrates the depth Adam Peters has built into this organization. Years ago, if one of our starting offensive linemen went down or got benched, we were completely screwed. Now, we have guys like Paul who can step in and maintain the level of play. That depth is crucial during a long NFL season. Injuries happen, performance issues arise, and disciplinary situations occur. Having reliable backups who are ready to contribute immediately is what separates good organizations from great ones. And there you have it, Commanders fans. 3 news stories that show us why this organization is finally on the right track. A historic touchdown, an emerging pass rusher, and coaching decisions that prioritize performance over reputations. Do you think Jaylen Lane can repeat performances like this throughout the season? Do you think Dorance Armstrong has finally found his place as our #1 pass rusher? And what do you think of Quinn's decision with Coleman? Was it fair or too hasty? I tell you this, these are the decisions that build winning cultures. After years of mediocrity, we finally have an organization that rewards performance and punishes complacency. If you think Lane is going to be our secret weapon on special teams all season, give this video a like. If you think Armstrong can reach double digits in sacks, subscribe, because I guarantee we'll have more explosive news tomorrow about how this team continues to build something special. Let me know in the comments which of these 3 news stories excited you the most and why. This community we're building is a family, and I want to hear all your opinions because you guys make this channel special. Don't miss the next video because We're going to dive deep into how these changes affect our chances in the division and why I think we're witnessing the birth of something historic in Washington. And remember, hail to the Redskins!